welcome to the Century 21 Gold Table Talk. This one is so exciting, Thireshni. So I'm sitting here with Thireshni, Century 21 South Africa's Head of Marketing, and we've got Yvette Thompson in the house. Yvette Thompson is with Century 21 Hoedspruit Wildlife and 2023's National Agent of the Year.
National Agent.
So nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've been looking forward to this trip of yours here all week.
Yeah. It's been the highlight for us this week. So we've all been waiting.
It has been. So we were chatting. It's been 4 months since we saw you last. And we were talking about our journey and our time in Hoedspruit in November last year. And for us, how and why it was the most incredible experience, in the Century 21 family, one of the highlights. And I want to share a little bit about now, 4 months later in hindsight, why it was such a highlight for me. Sure, that was a great day that we spent together, 2 days. What I learned about the real estate industry from hanging out with you and maybe it's the tiniest town I think I've ever been to. It's the most relaxed, down-to-earth environment. The population is like 3,000 people in total. And coming from Johannesburg, this idea that a real estate professional needs to be in the biggest metro to really succeed. And then we get into Yvette's world. Tiny town, few people compared to like Gauteng, and you're like a millionaire estate agent. Top results, highest sales nationally. And for me, that was a big eye-opener in terms of bigger is not better. What did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was very eye-opening in that, from that perspective, especially when it comes to marketing, because it was trying to understand with it being a small town, how does digital marketing impact? How does that play a role? And, the effects of that. So, how do you actually put a marketing strategy together from your end to become a successful top agent in the country?
Yeah, what are your, I mean, without sharing the secret formulas for everything, but marketing is a big deal. I never knew Hoedspruit existed until Century 21. Now, Yvette's sitting with Century 21 in Hoedspruit, but most of your clients are international. Could I say most of them are?
Yes. I think the market that I'm working in and the area that I cover and try and specialize in is probably 50% of my clients are international clients, which brings with it its own challenges. There's time differences, there's all sorts of things. But it also brings the opportunities. So it's foreign currencies coming in, they're less sensitive to pricing, and you can really go and find those top properties because there's always buyers for it. So even when there is an economic downturn or the interest rates go up, we're not that affected by it because we are protected with a foreign currency and foreign buyers that come into our area.
That's interesting, actually. It's almost like it's its own bubble within our economy, and what we go through is secondary for you to what you and your clients go through.
100%. I mean, we were looking at some of the real estate trends and interest rates going up and just the whole economic downturn, and we don't tend to feel that because we're protected by international buyers and currencies coming in. And even though the economy is getting worse, it's worse for us because our exchange rate is so weak, or our rand is so weak, but it's great for international buyer because they get so much more value. So we tend to sell at asking prices.
Can I pause there? Because I think it's common for us as South Africans to really talk a lot about what the challenges are in the country, because we know what's going on in the country all the time.
Yes.
What I'm hearing from you is that in spite of that, around the world, people still want to be here, invest here, bring their lifestyle here, which is different to what, I mean, here in other parts of the country, it's about everyone's leaving the country. And you're telling me people are coming in and it's more attractive for them. So it's completely different.
Yes, we have a huge influx of international
I love that.
buyers that's coming in because of the lifestyle, because of the smaller town, because of the safety and security. And, I think where we live, living in big estates in between big 5 animals, going for a run in a wildlife estate where you run past impala and warthog, And I think the charm of the town is because it's such a small town. It is a small town. You're not bombarded by a whole lot of people. And you can really just come and relax and enjoy life and see the sunset and the sunrise. So it's an amazing little town, and yes, the international clients, especially Americans. And I think that's also where Century 21 as a brand has started coming into play. In the last 3-4 years, American clients, it's almost, of the international clients, it's almost 50% American buyers for me.
About to ask about that, the global impact of the brand, because you did say a lot of your clients are international based. How does then the brand assist in that?
Yes,
in your
definitely
success?
In brand recognition, and especially on the American side. So we will have a whole lot of Americans coming in and saying, oh, Century 21, we're from Florida, or we're from Dallas, or wherever they're from, we know the brand. And I'm pretty sure that is why we are getting those inquiries and leads coming through as well.
You mentioned something earlier that reminded me. Do you remember when we were having lunch with Yvette in November? You were getting ready to get up to go and see a client to look at a property. And what happened? She's like, oh, shoot. I don't think we can do this appointment because what? We have to wait for the lion
to leave.
To leave. In Joburg, it's like traffic is delaying me, and for you it was like, oh, we got to wait for the lion to move on, right?
Yes, and I actually couldn't do the viewing, and I had to hand it over to Rob because the farm manager wouldn't allow us to go, and he had to do it the next morning. And yes, those are the challenges that we are facing sometimes.
Isn't that incredible?
Those are the best challenges ever. Ever.
Yes, until you're walking a stand and you find them there and you didn't know they were.
Have you? Tell us,
No,
you
actually I
experienced
haven't.
anything?
Touch wood, no. No, but those are always...
It happens.
It does happen.
It does.
Okay.
So it does
So, tonight you're leaving for the USA to go to the Century 21 121 experience in Vegas as our national agent of the year. Why I bring that up is because I think everyone that listens to this, including me, everyone, needs to take what you're about to say very seriously. So, there was a time when you weren't the top national agent in your life, maybe in a different career, because you weren't always in real estate. No. And as a national brand, we get a fair amount of, quite a lot of people inquiring about a career with Century 21 to get to what you've achieved. What advice can you give someone in terms of what they think real estate is about and what the reality of getting to your level is? Like myth versus reality, because you don't need a degree to become a real estate agent. You don't need to go through a whole many-year process to get to where you are in terms of qualification. What advice would you give someone that wants to get into the industry and also really get to where you are? Like the reality. I don't mind if we scare people away. It's probably better. Hey? What could you say?
Yeah, I think real estate is definitely harder than you think it is.
Yes.
It took me a while to get going on it. It really did. I came from a corporate marketing perspective.
Awesome.
It was a very different environment to all of a sudden to step into. It was a lot harder, and I will still say it's a much harder job than probably anything else I've done before.
Good. Good to say that.
It takes a lot of perseverance. Real estate agents aren't always seen in the best of lights because there are some really bad agents out there.
Right.
So you're constantly fighting against the image that a real estate agent has, and that's the kind of thing that you will say and do anything to make a sale. And
that's our reputation.
Yes,
typically, yeah.
That is the reputation, and you're fighting against that to try and prove that you are different. So I think what I've learned in the process to get where I am, it's total perseverance, never to give up. And so often when it looked as though a deal is dead and buried, you try one more angle, and it's that last angle that you try that makes it go through. And I had many of those, and I think I had many discussions with my husband at night. I kind of come home and you kind of unload, and he goes, oh, why do you even do this?
Right.
And he goes, I would have given up yesterday or a week ago on this deal.
Really?
And I would just say, well, I
Sure.
can't. Let me try this one last angle. And the last angle just opens the door and the deal gets done. So it was many times where you're at that point where you just think it's not going to happen, that you just push it's one more push and then you're there. And I think that has happened over and over. So perseverance and just not giving up. And also trying that different angle. Sometimes you just need to think out of the box, and the objection that a client gives you is not always the objection, and you need to read a little bit deeper into it. And I think that is possibly where my background helped me a lot better
With
now.
marketing.
Because clients will walk in and say, I want this, this, and this. This is my list. I need these boxes ticked.
Yes.
But if you listen carefully and you analyze their lifestyle and you just think a little bit further, strategically about what they've just told you. So don't just listen to the tick box of we need this, this, and this. Listen to them, speak to them, understand their lifestyle, and you will probably find that what they think they want is not what they need, and it doesn't fit. So
It is incredible because a lot of us don't know what we really need.
No, you
Exactly.
don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times clients are walking into our area, they have no idea what we have to offer. And we have so many different options. So you'll get somebody who's an avid runner who says they want to relocate and live in Big Five. Okay, do you know that if you go and live in a Big Five estate, you cannot walk out your door and go for a run? You now have to find somewhere along the highway or in town to go and go for a run.
Sure.
And it's things like that. So as you spend time with clients and you think about their lifestyle and you think about what they're saying, don't just take everything they say to you as this is concrete. You need to think about how it's going to fit and make the property fit to their lifestyle. And 9 times out of 10, the avid runner who wanted to go live in Big Five walks away and rather buys in a wildlife estate where he has free movement and he can buy a share in a Big Five property where he can go for the weekends.
But also that just
So
shows
just
that
thinking
you're
further.
Yeah, but it also just shows how you're a specialist in your area, you know, because people coming in to buy property, they're not going to know these things.
No, they don't.
And they ideally looking at you to be that expert to advise. And I think one of the highlights from our trip to Hoedspruit was definitely how you and the team create an experience economy that we don't really see very often, where people come through and prospective clients come through and you really give them all your time, all your energy. It's focused energy on them to understand, as you said, to analyze their needs beyond what they think they need, but then also go the further step of whatever they need. If they need a safari drive, if you've got to fetch them, drop them off, it's literally all about them. So can you just give us a bit about that, what it takes from you? Is it a personality thing that an agent needs to have that within their personality trait of being like, I'm going to be a service person that's just going to provide a service? Or is it, I'm going to go the extra mile, like you said, you persevere whatever angle it takes? So, sorry, how does that now fit in to...
I think I was just having a chat yesterday with Rob in the office about this. So what is different with our market is it's not a need where you need a house to live because your kids are going to school and you've got a new job. A majority of our sales are discretionary purchases. It's a holiday home, or it's a retirement home, or it's a second and third home. And definitely the market that I'm in is a little bit more like that. So it's not like you're fulfilling an absolute need. This is a want. This is an extra luxury. This is something different.
It's discretionary. It's a dream.
It is a dream. It's selling the dream.
It's actually a dream. And, you know, it's not that they're going to buy because they don't have that absolute need.
They don't have to buy.
We sometimes work with clients for a year, 2 years, that you are communicating, sending information. And then they get on a plane from America and they arrive and they're here for 4 days. You give your life in those 4 days to those clients.
That one client.
One client. So I can
they
tell
experience economy. So you take them on the game drives.
Yes.
Everything. Whatever it takes.
I have in 4 days driven 600 kilometers, picked them up from the airport, dropped them off at their
One
hotels.
client, one family.
One client. Driving them around all the different estates and reserves so they can see all those options, because they've just flown for how many hours to get to us to come and look for property.
No, it's a big investment.
You have to be available.
Sure.
So whether it's 42-degree heat or whether it's rain, snow, whatever, you are for 4 days with those clients taking them everywhere and showing them the properties.
You have just blown my brain open.
So that is, I think, how we're different to if you're in a bigger city. It's somebody who's looking for a residential home. You're quickly taking them around. We have to be available when the clients are in our area.
Yes.
Because they're on holiday, they're passing through, they're driving up from Joburg for the weekend.
Yes.
So whether you have a birthday party on or not, if your client arrives for that weekend, if you're not there, you're not going to get the sale or the deal, and you don't have the opportunity to show the property. So it's not at your...
Oh my gosh.
It's not on your time schedule at all. It's totally on the client's time schedule. And that was hard. Sure. Because you have to adapt.
It's very humbling as well, because it's not about you then. It's
no, not at all.
It's about just the client.
But people really go, if you're just on holiday and then you walk into our office and you want to look at property, you're not that focused. But we have clients who come in who purely flies here for 4 days. And I just had those clients the last 4 days. And that's what they come and do. You better give your all to show them the properties, give them the options, and help them choose. They turn around and go, there's so many options. This is what we're looking for. What do you think will fit our needs the best? And then you have to analyze and try and say, okay, this is it.
Yeah. This was a big lesson for me, because you're selling something that's discretionary.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
Yes.
It's not because of a divorce or school or retrenchment or relocation or career stuff. So Yvette becomes the top agent in the country from something that's a want, not a need, because of her perseverance. This is what I'm learning. Because as you said earlier, she's an expert in the local market, a market where bigger is not better. It's 3,000 population.
Exactly.
So if the perseverance gets you to the top through something that's discretionary, like a Ferrari is a want.
Yeah.
It's not a need. I can get to where I want. What if every real estate professional took what you just did, absorbed it, and did that type of perseverance with the things that are, I have to sell, I have to buy. It's not discretionary. Where does that professional in real estate, where can their career be if you can do it on something that's like, it's just a dream? That for me, that was the biggest thing. Thank you. Wow,
Huge.
that's
That
like
is
a book.
Wow, it is.
Okay, we need to interview, and not interview, but like pick Yvette's brain a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Because for me, I'm like, I'm not sleeping tonight. No, what you just did was really amazing, and I think every real estate professional that hears this will be like oof, small, slight edge things. Perseverance, become a master in your local market, and whatever it takes,
Perseverance, no matter the perception of the industry.
And not just, and what I learned as well is that to be a top agent, Yvette has had to really get to know the client better.
Yes.
I don't know that if I were, like in your example, a runner, I like to run every morning, I don't think anyone has asked me a question to determine that the way you would have with your clients. That's often not what people ask when it comes to the checklist that you say.
Yes.
Don't just look at the checklist. Understand 100%. What their life values are, because this is their home, holiday home, dream home. That was pretty cool.
But I think the time we also spend with them is maybe a bit more than what
absolutely
other agents
more conversations.
In the city. So remember, I will pick them up at 8:30 in the morning, and I will have them in my car for the whole day. And it might be a day or two, or sometimes 3. So you have a lot of conversations, and you start learning a little bit more. So our selling is very time intensive. You spend a lot of time with those clients. It's not just somebody walking in the door or coming to a show house and then leaving. You get to know a lot more, and if you listen carefully, you understand a lot more. I think that's very difficult for agents in cities to potentially do, because they don't have that time with clients necessarily.
Yeah.
They have a shorter period of time, and you maybe don't get to have the conversations that you glean a bit more. More
and look,
insight.
I think it's a balance. I think it's a possibility, because it's the mindset shift of it not being about the checklist of the house only, but also about what your lifestyle is like. Because as you said, it plays such an impactful role. Because then you, as the expert, I mean, that relationship you walk away with, of giving them a place that they actually were looking for, that didn't know they were looking for.
Exactly.
They will always come back to you, and I think that's more valuable than just making a sale. And then they're like, actually, I'm not really happy with this place. I can't run.
Correct. No, you're
Which
right.
you could have done. You had that choice of sending them a place they thought they wanted.
That's right.
Yes.
So,
Whoa, okay.
very cool.
Yeah, simple things that I learned today, really simple, but it's all what makes you the top. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we want even better for you this year and next year and the year after.
No pressure, thank you.
So I think you're going to have
You
the
set
best
the bar,
time.
Yvette.
Yeah, no, she has. No, I do. I challenge anyone to beat Yvette this year. I really do. Yeah, and I would say don't let anyone beat you as well.
Maybe I just need
Challenge
to give somebody
accepted.
else a chance.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. You're gonna have such a good time at in Vegas this week.
Absolutely.
They
Very
are
looking
going
forward
to
it.
be, from what I understand, 6,000
Wow.
Century 21 property professionals
Incredible.
from around the world. So
Wow,
incredible.
we're gonna wait for your
Mind
stories
blowing.
when you come home.
We're doing
Yeah.
this again.
Yeah, no, we
When
have
you're
to.
back.
Perfect.
We'll be here on
Deal.
the Sunday.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
deal.
Thanks for
This
your
is
time.
incredible.
Thanks for having me.
No, this was great.
Thanks, Yvette.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure.